today on Yuba-Sutter.LIVE, Government Watch. At 10 a.m., the Yuba Water Agency. Then at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, Marysville City Council and the 6 p.m. Yuba City Council meetings. Yuba-Sutter.LIVE's Government Watch. That's happening today, right here on Yuba-Sutter.LIVE.
Yuba-Sutter.LIVE. It's the truth that comes through.
Consent. See none, I would hear from you. Second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor? We need roll call.
Director Bishop,
Yes.
Director Bradford,
Yes.
Director Vasquez,
Yes.
Director Fuhr,
Yes.
Director Messick,
Yes.
Director House,
Yes.
Director Matthews.
Yes.
Thank you. First discussion item is consideration of adoption of resolution number 2026-23, adopting the fiscal year 2026-27 salary schedule, adoption of resolution 2026-24, amending the benefits resolution to reflect the agency's health insurance contribution, and page here. Authorization of an update to benefits policy to reflect the agency's health insurance contribution. Teresa.
Yes, thank you. Good morning. The item is really straightforward. It's really a housekeeping item. So you all approved the 26-27 budget at the last meeting. So we're bringing the salary schedule forward. This is really a CalPERS requirement. We must have a publicly available pay schedule on our website available to the public. So that's what we're doing here, bringing that forward for approval. And then included in that is the benefits policy and benefits resolution. And the only updates made in both of those were the retiree healthcare. You all approved that in a side letter agreement with the union. That went from $2,100 to $2,500. Those two documents now reflect those changes, and that's what we're asking you to approve: the salary schedule and the two documents, the resolution and the benefits policy.
Okay. Any board comments? Any public comment or questions? I'll second. Okay, I have a motion and a second. We need a roll call vote.
Director Bradford,
Yes.
Director Vasquez,
Yes.
Director Bishop,
Yes.
Director Fuhr,
Yes.
Director House,
Yes.
Director Matthews,
Yes.
Director Messick.
Yes. Okay, item 4 is consider approval of the review and revisions to the following board policies. Number 1, staff interaction policy. Number 2, the training policy. And number 3, director's compensation and expense reimbursement policy. Number 4 is the policy concerning ethics, the general manager, and related matters. Number 5, rules for proceedings of the board of directors policy. And number 7, the drug-free workplace policy. So Teresa and Mandy are going to talk.
Yeah, I'll just quickly introduce it. This is just regular review of your board policies to make sure that we're compliant with state law and aligned with our agency practices. Mandy's going to go over actual details of each of the changes in the policies.
I am Mandy, clerk of the board, and part of my role is reviewing board policies. And so we have the 6 to present to you today. The first one is our staff interaction policies. There was no changes to it. We reviewed it. There was no need to make changes, so that's remaining the same. Then we have our director harassment prevention policy that we are now, we've rebranded it the training policy. And the reason being, the Senate Bill 827 that was passed last year expanded on the existing AB 1234 ethics training requirement. And it introduced a new fiscal and financial training that is now mandatory along with the ethics and the anti-harassment training. So we've incorporated that into one policy and noted any changes to it. The biggest change is that newly elected members, board members, had a year to complete those mandatory trainings within the first year of assuming office, and that now has been reduced to 6 months. And our next one is our policy concerning general manager ethics and related matters. With this one, we removed the ethics training and placed that into the training policy I just discussed. Then we also revised the policy to reflect our existing practice of the general manager appointing the director of finance, but the board sets the policy and management for transparency of agency funds. Our next one, we're removing the drug-free workplace policy. Since that policy was adopted, there have been multiple HR policies put in place, and there's no need to have a board drug-free policy. Our next one is the rules of proceedings for board members. And this was to reflect the changes of Senate Bill 707, which did a lot of updates to the Brown Act. So part of that is if someone's disrupting the meeting, whether virtually or in person, chair can give a warning to the person who's being disruptive. And then if they continue the disruption, we're allowed to remove them from the meeting virtually or in person. If there's a local emergency or state emergency going on, we can now meet via teleconference. And then there is the new disability accommodation, which is any director who has a disability is allowed to attend virtually. There are a few requirements. They need to have their camera and mic on, and they need to disclose anyone over the age of 18 in the room while they're meeting, and their vote counts the same as an in-person vote, and it doesn't have to meet the teleconference guidelines. And then our final one is the director's compensation and expense reimbursement policy, and that's just been updated to reflect current rates and reporting requirements.
Thank you. Any board discussions?
I just had one question to get clarified on the compensation and reimbursement. So when we're going to Aqua Conference or cap to cap learning and representing our agency, sometimes we have to go to places that are pretty expensive. I see on there switching to we're switching to a per diem on our expense reimbursement instead of having actual expenses reimbursed. So I just would like the opportunity to say that we should probably have in there some type of wording that says if the expenses are higher than the per diem offered, then you should still have an exception to submit your expenses. There's been a couple of dinners I've had to go to where, or not had to, but had to represent our agency. And one was in DC, and I think it was like $120, right? And I didn't get that reimbursed because I thought it was pretty crazy to go to it. But if there's people who go regularly to Aqua and all these other places, and they have expenses, I just feel like they should be reimbursed. It's a big change going from expense reimbursement to reasonable expense reimbursement to per diem. And per diem changes depending on where you're at. But it's not a fully, it's not a large enough amount for some places that are going.
I missed that. That's actually changed. We are changing that.
Yeah, it's similar to what we offer for staff and what other agencies do.
I know the county does per diem, and in general, I like it a lot better because you don't have to worry about keeping the receipts and itemizing things.
I think in here it did say you still have to submit your receipts and an expense report. So I think we're doing both. So
Is there a reason why you would have per diem, but you'd still have to submit receipts? It seems like it'd be one or the other.
It could potentially be one or the other. So we can clarify that too.
okay, yeah, I'm good with it. It's that way. But I just still think there should be an exception in there, or like with the chairman approval or something, because there's other places where we say with chairman approval, allow something,
I'm not opposed to that concept in general, that, it's per diem, but there's the ability for exceptions with approval. Rare circumstances. So I have a couple questions and comments about the policies. The first one, the director reimbursement, compensation and expense reimbursement policy, and it's really about the stipend for various committees. I know I serve on 3 of those, and they have extremely different levels of time requirements. Some are almost 0, and some are pretty significant. And I know the policy right now has them all at the same level. And so it might make sense if the board is in favor to establish an ad hoc committee and look at, is there a more fair or appropriate way to assign compensation based on level of requirements. I know NACWA is pretty extensive from a time commitment standpoint. Aqua is not, unless you happen to be really involved. I know when Brent Hasty held that position, he was very, very involved in Aqua. In my case, it's more about maybe attending the 2 conferences, and any director can do that. So maybe not appropriate to have the same level of compensation that you would get for Aqua anyway. So if the board is in favor of that, looking at maybe the appropriateness of those. And I'd be interested in being on that ad hoc if.
Any other comments? I'll just say it's probably never comfortable for a board to talk about their own compensation. But I'm gonna guess that this committee thing has been around for a long time, and it's a little bit, actually, I think a little bit ambiguous the way that it's written. That I think it says something like, special assignments such as, and it lists maybe 3 different committees. And I think the ad hoc committee is a good idea, that maybe we address both of these issues that you guys brought up. And probably could be done in one meeting, and talk about, how much time is spent on those committees, whether or not that rate is appropriate, and maybe spell out exactly which ones we're going to use a stipend for.
Yeah, I think it'd be good as well, because I honestly don't, I know like Gary and I, when we have 2 different levels of interaction when we're on a committee, right? So I don't know if, like you were saying with Brent Hasty, when he was on Aqua, he did a whole lot more. So I don't know if it'd be appropriate to make that one less if somebody else was willing to go on there and takes other leadership responsibility or go after some processes for our but I'd like to participate in that process.
So, Mandy or Willie, maybe you can answer this. Can we approve all of this other than that one section? And then
You just approve it and then revise it later after the ad hoc committee changes things.
is that the way to do it?
Josh, can you clarify for us?
I think as is.
Sure.
Josh, let me lay some groundwork here. Andrew's on vacation, so we have Josh Horowitz from BKS sitting in as our attorney. It was a light agenda, so I didn't think he needed to be here in person. I think this is a very difficult question for Josh. Josh, you've been tracking the discussion on agenda item 4. The board is questioning some of the details in sub-item 3 in agenda item 4 related to director's compensation and expense reimbursement policy. I think you got the question, but I'll state it here for those in the room. The question is Director Fuhrer said, hey, we could just approve all of these now and revise that sub-item 3 later, or should we table sub-item 3 and approve all of the others and then come back after the ad hoc meets and address or consider sub-item 3. So Josh, please help us out here.
And it's,
Oh, you cut out, Josh.
sorry about that. This is a board policy. It's really the board's pleasure. Don't mean to sound too much like a lawyer here, but in my mind, the cleanest way to go would be to table the whole thing and bring it back once it's been workshopped through the committee and a proposal's brought back. The issue with approving part of it but not all of it is it's potentially confusing. So my recommendation would be to table the policy for today, work on it at the committee level, bring it back when it's ready for prime time as a whole policy and deal with it at that future meeting.
Okay, Josh, question. Our agenda item has 7 total policies today. Can they approve 6 of them and table 1 of them? Or should they go ahead?
Yeah, absolutely, Willie. That's not a problem. If the board wants to just table this one and approve the rest, that's perfectly fine. The motion just needs to make it clear that that's what you're doing.
And,
Excellent, Josh. Thank you.
and do we have to make a motion for the ad hoc committee?
No, that's simply direction, Mandy.
Thank you.
Any public comment on this? No, any further board comment?
Through the chair, I have a comment or a question on one more policy change. This one is in the rules for proceedings of Board of Directors policy. And it's the additional language that says the board expressly declines to adopt and authorize the use of alternate teleconferencing provisions concerning teleconference meetings for just cause. Does that language prevent directors from participating in a meeting remotely if they are sick or essentially out of county on official government agency business. That's something we're able to do today, and I'm a little concerned about prohibiting that in the future by policy.
I don't have an answer for that, Andrew, and who reviewed that policy. So I'll need to clarify with Andrew if you want to table that one and we can bring those.
Yeah, I don't know, the rest of the board is fine with that, but, and I know not all the time when you're out on official agency business, but sometimes it is nice to be able to participate in meetings remotely and have that ability, should that, line up with your schedule and there's something on the agenda that's important for you to participate in. So I would just hate to remove that ability.
Which section is that?
It's G5 rules 20, rule 24 meetings by teleconference, and item G.
It's the rules for proceedings of board policies, 5 and 3 the table.
I move for approval with tabling 5 and 3.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion is that we approve all of this except subsections 3 and 5. And we need a roll call vote.
Director Bishop,
Yes.
Director Vasquez,
Yes.
Director Messick,
Yes.
Director Matthews,
Yes.
Director House,
Yes.
Director Beard,
Yes.
Director Bradford.
Yes.
Okay, then should we go ahead and form that committee?
Yes. Who would you like to serve on the ad hoc?
Unless they decline, I would like Gary, Rennick, and John to do it, just because John has served on some of those outside committees and stuff.
Sure. Do it.
And just prior to holding that meeting, Mandy and I will collect information from other agencies on how they handle this.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think, Willie, we're ready for the manager's report.
Okay, well, we've been moved into this facility for almost a year now. And I think when I talked to the board, once we moved in, we decided we should try and have at least 2 meetings a year here. We thought due to the heat in the summer and rain and snow in the winter that we'd have them in the spring and the fall. This year we had one planned for earlier in the spring, but because of the penstock incident, we decided to delay it until today. So I wanted to thank you for being here. You can see it's a great facility that this board authorized for us to construct and utilize. And I think it's great that we have this facility when the incident happened. It just made things much more efficient and also probably definitely saved us equipment loss during the incident, but also probably saved from injuries or even worse. So thanks for being here. I also want to thank the board for being here. And then secondly, I want to thank the staff that doesn't normally attend our board meetings, but can attend today really easily because they're here. So you're seeing staff in the audience here that don't normally sit through a board meeting and see how the inner workings of the board work. So thank you all for being here. I will move on to my manager's report now. First off, we're now drawing down New Bullard Bar. It's about at 890,000 acre feet. We've had it's at 107% storage year to date, but we've only had 77% of normal inflow year to date. And I'll remind you, we had an early snow melt this year, so we ended up peaking the storage in early May. When we normally do in early June. So, but it's a good water year. We have adequate water, but as you know, and as I've reported, we have a conveyance limitation, and that is we only have the ability to move 1,250 CFS through the low-level outlet. We do have water on the gates, but we closed the gates, and we don't plan to use the spill gates for the remainder of the season. And that is to provide the coldest water possible in the lower Yuba River. So we closed the gates on Monday. And Engelbrett is full, as full as it can be, and we'll just continue with the 1,250 CFS capacity through the remainder of irrigation season. As far as the maintenance crew, there's routine maintenance going on with the folks that maintain bollards and the recreational facilities and the water treatment plant. The electrical crew continues to work on restoration of Colgate, and specifically, they've recently taken oil and gas samples from the 2 large transformers, the Colgate 1 and 2 generator step-up transformers, and have sent those oil and gas samples out for analysis. There will be further detailed testing of both those transformers and the breakers related to those transformers in the coming weeks. but we're doing everything we can to get the testing that we can perform done now. The mechanical team is working to get the hatches functional on the top deck of the powerhouse so they can get into the powerhouse. They're also working to restore the Colgate 1 and 2 governor sumps. And the utility crew has pretty much completed the bulk of the dirt removal on the top of the powerhouse and the dirt that was adjacent to PG&E's transformers, what we call bank 3. Now they're just kind of doing finer sediment cleanup and finer cleaning. The utility crew is also helping our engineering team this week with the DSOD and FERC dam safety inspections. We have both Department of Safety or Division of Safety of Dams and FERC dam inspectors out on the project this week inspecting all of our dams. From what I understand this morning, that's going well. The fleet mechanics continue to maintain our vehicles, and Narrows 1 and 2 are both online and operating normally. We are decreasing output from both Narrows 1 and 2 this week because our Accord minimum flow requirements at both the Smartsville gauge and the Marysville gauge decrease on May 15th. So now we're decreasing our output at Englebright. We are in what some are calling in social media, we'll call it extreme El Nino or super El Nino, meaning the Eastern Pacific near the equator is very warm. John James has done some analysis of past El Nino years, and people will ask me, well, what is an El Nino year? I remember 1997 and 98, and it was really wet, but there's other El Nino years where it's really dry. And through the analysis of 5 or 6 El Ninos over the past 50 years, it is really a coin toss on what happens in this part of California when we do experience warm temperatures in the Eastern Pacific. So I will also remind you that 97, 98 was an El Nino year, but it was the 97, 98 year. It was not 96, 97 year. 96, 97 is the year we had the 97 flood. So that 97 flood was not during an El Nino period. So just if you see this on social media, I think this is going to get a lot of traction in the media over the next several months. So I'm trying to explain to you the analysis that we've done, which is not super deterministic. It's basically a coin toss of what will happen. Like always, we will prepare for drought and we will prepare for flood like we normally do. With that, I want to give a very brief update on the forensics investigation related to the Penstock incident. We have an independent subcontractor, one of the members of the forensics team, has taken the piece of penstock that detached from the penstock during the incident and rolled downhill. They now have that piece cut into manageable sized pieces. They palletized it last week and shipped it to Brooklyn, New York. It is now in Brooklyn, New York. The lab testing of that piece will begin in the next couple of weeks. The piece that's still intact is being removed this week. So we have crews out there. That same independent contractor is cutting that piece into predetermined pieces with forensics team approval for modification and palletizing it and getting it ready to ship to New York as well. That work should be done by the end of the week, if not the end of the week, early next week, and it'll take a few days for it to get to New York, and then lab testing will commence. So that's it's been a little daunting because of all the interested third parties that want to oversee or at least witness that work. So it takes a lot of time. It's not like a typical construction job where you just go in and unbolt it and cut it up. You got to kind of check in with all the interested third parties every step of the way. And we're doing that to protect the material so that everything resulting from the forensics report is valid. With that, I'll move on to communications. We were mentioned in a press release for the North Yuba Forest Partnership sharing upcoming vegetation management projects. We were also mentioned in geotechnical engineering news for a project funded by a grant we gave to UC Citrus a couple of years ago for levee health monitoring, where they've developed a digital twin of some of the levees in the RD 784 system. In community relations, we're sponsoring the Yuba-Sutter Fair next week, but that sponsorship was funded prior to the penstock incident. And last week, our external newsletter went out for the first time since the incident and was distributed to more than 3,100 people, and it was also promoted on social media. And before I wrap up, We have a communications budget annually, and we develop videos promoting projects we're working on or milestones we've made throughout the organization. And this year we obviously revised our communication needs, and we shifted some of that communications budget to create a video, kind of explain to the public where we're at in the incident and the recovery and the impact it has on the agency and the impact it has on the public and frankly, water users and energy users statewide. So we plan to show you this 3-minute video today. This is the first showing of this video. And then we will end up sharing it on social media and all of our normal outlets. So let's take a few minutes to watch the video.
We continue to follow breaking news right now out of Yuba County.
The Yuba Water Agency says a pipe burst at the Colgate powerhouse on the Yuba River.
The work to rebuild the Colgate penstock is underway, but there's a long road ahead for Yuba Water Agency.
It's absolutely difficult for me to look at it. The momentum of this agency at the time was great. We were doing great things, and to have something unanticipated like this come up has been devastating, frankly.
What happened that day was unexpected and unprecedented.
So it was an average Friday afternoon. We'd had 4.5 months of maintenance work going on in the tunnel and the penstock. And on Friday, February 13th, we were filling the penstock in the tunnel. We were near completion of the filling, and the penstock ruptured.
A catastrophic scene after a major pipeline burst in Yuba County.
That initial force must have been incredible.
In an instant, a maintenance project that was nearly complete became one of the biggest challenges in Yuba Water's history.
It was frantic and it was chaotic for the first few hours afterwards, ensuring that everyone was accounted for, developing a plan to remediate the oil spill downstream in Englebright Reservoir. Once we knew everyone was going to be okay, then you get a different feeling of devastation of all the work ahead of us, all the analysis, all the remediation, the financial impact it would have on this agency.
The effects of the rupture reach far beyond the repair site. With the penstock out of service, once the reservoir drops below the main spill gates, Yuba Water can only move about 1/3 as much water downstream as it normally would, which could have impacts throughout the state. That water supports local agriculture and native fish in the Yuba River, as well as Central Valley farming and communities throughout the Bay Area and Southern California. The outage has also sidelined the new Colgate powerhouse, a facility capable of generating enough electricity for up to 350,000 homes and providing critical power when demand on the grid surges. And with that generation offline, one of Yuba Water's primary sources of revenue has been interrupted.
This conveyance system in the Colgate powerhouse is 80% of the agency's revenue, and we'll be without that during the period of reconstruction.
That revenue helps fund flood protection projects, water supply investments, environmental and educational programs, and grants that benefit the local community. Until the system is restored, those resources will be limited. Technical experts are examining every part of the system to better understand the extent of the damage and develop a plan for rebuilding. At the same time, an independent forensics team is investigating what caused the incident in the first place. Both of these efforts will help inform the overall schedule and cost to rebuild. Fixing the penstock is about much more than just rebuilding a damaged facility. It's about restoring the water deliveries, clean energy generation, and community investments that depend on it. But Yuba Water is determined to get there.
The response from the public, the response from our partners in the industry, the response from our board of directors, and primarily our staff just shows to me that we will absolutely get through this. Very good. Excellent. Yeah. So there's the video. That's the first showing. Like I said, we'll share it widely. I think it tells the story. With that, our next board meeting is July 7th, and that's all I have.
Okay, we'll move to director's comments. Start with Seth. I think Rennick.
Just wanted to say thank you. While we have more staff in the room than normal, just thank you for all the hard work you guys have been putting in, the hours, the shifts, and your duties. That's a huge deal. I mean, a lot of people get in the power industry and they get, they're electricians and that's all they do and that's all they want to do, right? And then something like this, it speaks volume of the character of the people we have working here, that you're all willing to pitch in and get the work done and work the long hours. So just happy that we're here to help keep a stable workforce. Thank you guys for all you do for us. Appreciate it.
Gary,
Nothing.
Andy.
Video was very enlightening. The parts being separated and stuff, I had no idea this. That will definitely make an impact on people watching, give them a better perception of what you do. Thank you.
John.
Well, ditto on the video. It's nice to have a professional voiceover person on staff. Yeah, I went on a forest tour with the Fire Safe Council last week. It's great to see all the stuff we funded, all the mastication projects we funded side by side with forest that has not been treated. And it's really, you see such a huge difference. So anytime you guys get a chance to go on any of those tours, I recommend it. And the fair's next week. Did we sponsor the livestock awards? We did, okay. So for the last few years, I've always been there and taken pictures with the kids for the agency that received the Yuba Water Agency sponsored awards. I don't have any kids in fair this year, but I will probably be around there. If anybody else wants to be there Sunday morning to do that, Rennie probably will be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
So do you want to round up let them know ahead of time, round up the kids that,
I'll get some pictures and get the,
all right.
make sure they notify those kids. We give out the awards.
And I will be around the fair. If anybody's there Friday night, I'll probably won't be winning that Brown Valley brisket cook-off.
All smartest to get
That's about it.
Okay, and I don't really have anything other than I hope everybody joins us for lunch. I'm sorry, let's get Charlie.
I have nothing to report.
I hope everybody joins us for lunch. I also appreciate those of you who don't often get to board meetings coming, and I'm sure we'll continue to do a couple meetings a year up here for that reason, as well as anybody from the public where this might be a more convenient place. So I enjoy being in this building. It's a good place to be. So with that, we'll adjourn the meeting. We could be ready to serve. I don't know what time we told people lunch would be, but we could be ready as soon as 11.
We can send out a notification.
Okay, so let's eat at 11. Excellent. Anybody who wants to help serve from the board, you'll go to the meeting first.
Today on Yuba-Sutter.LIVE, Government Watch. At 6 p.m. on Tuesday, Marysville City Council and the 6 p.m. Yuba City Council meetings. Yuba-Sutter.LIVE's Government Watch. That's happening today, right here on Yuba-Sutter.LIVE.
Yuba-Sutter.LIVE. It's the truth that comes through.